What's up, guys? It's the Wolf here. Today we're talking about Ant-Man Quantumania and my thoughts. Honestly, we ignored the critics and assumed the 43% rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes was a result of lack of woke narratives and identity politics, etc. And honestly, I do believe there was definitely less wokeness than some other Marvel projects recently. And possibly with the cherry on top with Bill Murray even being included in the movie, even if it was minuscule, the critics could have decided to nitpick this movie because 43% is just unrealistic to me, compared to She-Hulk, which got a 95 from the critics, which is just insane. This is a solid 7 out of 10 MCU film for me. I went in expecting some woke agenda, his daughter being the main plot point or her taking over the Ant-Man mantle. I just knew from Loki season 1 Kang was going to be interesting and Jonathan Majors was going to knock it out of the park, which I think he did. I think he's just the writing material that he had to work with maybe didn't go his way exactly. But those were my expectations. How is the movie actually? Well, honestly, I had fun with the movie. It seemed to rush along a little too fast at times, with some plot points being dragged on, it seemed. But the movie was fun. The CGI at times were interesting. Sometimes it was just wow, but other times it started to give me kind of a headache and kind of like this stretched look. I don't know if it had anything to do with the 360 CGI that they've been using, but it looked kind of like some people were saying a desktop background, which is hilarious. The two villains throughout the film were underutilized as hell, with MODOK being essentially used as a dick joke the entire movie, acting as some morphed Igor to Kang's Frankenstein. And honestly, I really like MODOK. I liked him in the comics. I like him on all the cartoons that I've ever watched growing up. MODOK was pretty badass. He was weird and goofy, but he was powerful and menacing. He wasn't just a dick joke, and it definitely wasn't Darren. It doesn't make sense to me why they would use a character so widely known and then just butch it. Just I don't get it. Is MODOK coming back as somebody else? What's going on there? I'm curious, but we're gonna have to see on that. And Kang, God, I mean, he was just underpowered like the whole movie, or not even underpowered the entire movie. It was just it was unbalanced. Sometimes he's just throwing people against the walls, doing whatever with his hands, and then at other times he's just being overpowered by ants, and it's just a little embarrassing. I'm assuming because he's still in the quantum realm, he only has a percentage of his actual power, but seeing Ant-Man take on Kang was just a little unrealistic for me, a little hard to swallow, to be honest. I get it took the whole team to finish him off, but the one-on-one with Kang and Scott, Kang should have been able to bitch slap Scott and escape somehow. That's what I was expecting. I was kind of wanting this movie to act as an Infinity War, at which it had high drama, low humor, and in the end the villain is menacing and uncontrollable. That's what I wanted from this movie, and I didn't really get that at all. So that's why I put it down to a 7. But I think, I do like Jonathan Majors as Kang. I just don't think they're doing. Hopefully, they completely kind of change his character when he's out of the quantum realm, and they're using it that way, because I think, with them planning Ant-Man all along to be the introduction to Kang, I think that obviously had to rework it somehow to make Ant-Man actually possible. To fight against Kang, but yeah, the CGI as well, huge criticisms coming from everybody, and I could see that some of the montages started to give me a headache, especially with the odd choice of action sequences using the 360 CGI techniques. The final battle being somewhat badass, if you can get away from the fact a D-lister is taking on Kang's entire army, and the post-credit scenes really made this movie, which is kind of sad. At this point, I'm just hopeful that when he's out of the quantum realm, he's more on the lines of the actual badass comic book adaptation. Hopefully Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty can redeem him, because I think Jonathan Majors, like I said, plays the part very well. It just sucks that Ant-Man was their plan all along to introduce Kang, when Ant-Man, at the end of the day, is nowhere near Kang's power level, But, let me know in the comments below, was this a good introduction to Phase 5? I think it was much better than most of the films from Phase 4, but this obviously had its issues, if you're gonna nitpick it, but overall I had fun with it. And I know people are saying that there's very little character development to care about. There's only like 2 characters in Muscle Lady You know, Kang stole the spotlight and tripped over his mic. You know, I get it, but I think they're going in a decent direction. I just hope they don't ruin it. You know, and with the rest of the movies coming out this year, Guardians seems to be the only movie that's going to turn heads for Marvel this year, and that's just kind of just disappointing, to be honest. But let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the movie. I'm curious because it's all over the place. Critics are loving it, hating it, and then you have the fans. I think the last I looked, it was at like a 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. So obviously people are liking the movie. It's probably not the greatest MCU film of all time, but it's something to watch. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to join the Wolf Pack. Peace.